What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we are back with a new top 10 for you guys today. And today we are taking a look at top 10 boss battle dinos. So guys, the broodmother over there has so voluntarily decided to be our test subject, and we'll be showcasing to you guys today the top 10 best dinos that you guys should be using for boss battles. Alrighty guys, so coming in at number 10 we have the Allo. Now the Allo is an absolute beast, just in general. Like, he's an absolute total wrecking machine regardless of what you want to use him for. So guys, today we are using him for boss battles. Now these guys are really powerful, and because of their added effect of the chew attack, they're able to pretty much rip through a lot of bosses. Now they do quite a bit of damage. You can see here we are hitting quite hard. Now do take into mind we've only got about 9 Allos here, I believe. So we aren't really like capitalizing on the 20 dinos per boss battle sort of thing. But you can see here, even with our Allos here, we are still doing quite a bit of damage. Like, the broodmother is taking damage. Okay, there we go, we've lost one of them. And you know, these guys are great. You know, they're good substitute for Rexes. If you can't get your hands on some Rexes, you can definitely get your hands on some Allos. Now, another little thing is that these guys were just spawned in. We haven't actually bred them, we haven't mutated them, we haven't pumped up any levels into their stats. You can see here, this guy's got 7 levels on him already. And none of these guys have any extra boosted leveling or anything like that as well. So, like, you can see the damage that we've done. This is a pretty solid effort from the Allos on their part, from already dealing this much damage to the broodmother, regardless of their level. Like, they haven't been leveled up at all. They haven't been bred for mutations. Pretty sure our dude here's got like, yeah, 6k health. You can see there that we just leveled up, and only like 300 melee damage. So if you guys get a really good line of Allos going, you can definitely manage to take on the bosses. Alrighty guys, now coming in at number 9, we have Reaper Kings. Now these guys are pretty much beastly at everything they do. They're pretty much like stronger versions of Rexes, I guess you could say. The only downside is that they don't have saddles. Now, don't let that take you away from the fact that these guys absolutely kick butt. You can see here these guys are dealing damage to the broodmother, and once again these guys have been spawned in, so they don't have any extra levels put into them. But like, we've got I think 5 or 6 of them here, and look at the damage that they are doing. Now obviously they're not the greatest damage dealers, but they are one of the tankiest dinos that you can get. Because if the creature or person that you're versing with them doesn't have access to a light pet, then, well, they're not going to take as much damage as they normally would. Now, like I was saying, these guys have not been leveled up at all in any regards. However, you can easily get these guys up to 30k and like 400 melee damage, 500 melee damage, which is incredible. And like, look at this, we haven't lost a Reaper King yet, and we're still decimating the broodmother. Now, you can use these guys on the Megatherium as well as the rag bosses, the dragon and the manticore. They are able to sort of damage the manticore and the dragon with their tail attacks. But I mean, it's nothing amazing. So these guys are great for dealing damage, dealing with the bosses, you know, any boss that you want to use them against. You can't take them into the Aberration one, I believe, though, so do be aware of that as well. But every other map which you can transfer these guys to, they can do great amounts of damage. And if you've got access to a cloning chamber, you can simply clone them up instead of breeding them, which you can't obviously do. And you can use these guys as a substitute for Rexes. However, it's all up to you. The reason they're at number 9 though is because they are a lot more difficult to come across than the other dinos that are on this list. So yeah guys, Reaper Kings come in at number 9. Alrighty guys, now coming in at number 8 we have the Megalosauruses. Now these guys are absolutely key for completing boss battles on Aberration. Now we're not currently on Aberration, but we're going to showcase to you guys just the amount of damage these guys do. Now these guys almost hit as hard as that Reaper King was hitting. That's how powerful these guys are. Once again, these guys have not been leveled up in any way, and they are pretty solidly built in health. You can see there. Now it is nighttime, so they do get that extra buff, and these guys are absolutely pivotal in order to take on Rockwell, in my opinion, for Aberration. That's where these guys really shine. Now obviously they're a lot smaller than the other dinos that were brought onto the list so far, but that does not mean that these guys don't pack a punch. You can see here that we are shredding through the broodmother as well. Now because of the nighttime boost that these guys get extra powerful, and if you manage to breed up a really good line of them with health mutations and melee damage mutations, these guys can be absolutely destructive monsters in Aberration and the other maps. You can see here we're using them on the broodmother, and like I said, we've got no extra levels in these guys, but if we were to pump extra levels in him, well then we would absolutely shred through this brood mother like a hot knife through butter. These guys are incredible and I cannot recommend them enough. Alrighty, so next up on the list we have the Megatherium coming in at number 7. Now these guys are freaking absolute machines when it comes to versing the Broodmother. Now the Broodmother is a boss on 2 of the maps of Ark, the island and the center. And on both of those maps, the Megatherium is an absolute destructive machine. The reason being because they get the bug killing buff. Now at the moment you can see here our little Megatherium doesn't have any sort of buff. The moment we kill an Uranio though, we will become an absolute destructive machine. So not only do they passively get a stronger buff against versing bugs, but when they kill a bug, they become frenzied. And you can see the amount of damage that we are currently doing to the Broodmother from this buff. 445 damage, one of our dudes over there is doing 845. These guys are absolutely destructive when it comes to versing the Broodmother. And because she's on 2 of the maps, you just can't go wrong with bringing these guys with you. However, you do need to make sure that you constantly refill the buff by killing Uranios, which honestly is not too hard because she constantly spawns them all the time. You can see there, look at that, 719 damage. So the Broodmother does count as one gigantic bug as well, so they also get the extra buff for that. Now, I personally have seen the Broodmother easy, I believe, taken on with 3 Megatheriums, a Yuty, and a Daeodon. And that was enough to kill the Broodmother, and no Megatheriums were lost that day. So these guys are absolutely tanky as heck. Their damage is off the charts when it comes to versing the Broodmother. And once again, these guys have not been leveled up in any way, shape or form. 5k health, 296 melee damage. Let's just real quick here, chuck in 27 levels into melee damage, and we'll look at the outcome. We'll look at the difference. Now these melee damage is reflective of official rates as well. So here we go. Before we hit 400, now we're hitting 650. Look at that. That is ridiculous. So guys, I cannot recommend the Megatheriums more than this, and that's why they come in at number 7 on this list. Now guys, coming in at number 6, we have the Wooly Rhinos. Now these guys are absolute machines when it comes to taking on boss battles like every other dino that is going to be on this list. Now, the one thing that really sets the Wooly Rhinos apart is their charge attack. Now, you can see in the right-hand corner, we just totally walked 3 of them off the cliff, that if you build up the Wooly Rhino's charge attack, you can pretty much ram into an enemy dino, or an enemy, or anything like that, and deal a colossal amount of damage. Now, it helps if your Rhinos don't actually fall off the cliff, and you've actually got tribe mates on to help you. That is where these guys really shine. Now, to use them against the Ragnarok bosses is one of the best spots where they shine, because there's not really much that you can get yourself clipped on with the Wooly Rhinos, and you can utilize their full charge effect. You can currently see here that our Wooly Rhinos are getting pretty decimated, but on Ragnarok these guys are an absolute machine, because like I said, they've got that ability to charge. Now mind you as well, these guys don't have any extra points into anywhere. What the heck? Did we just get knocked out? Oh, he's just leveling up. I did not know they did that. So yes, so these guys haven't been leveled up in any way. If they had extra stamina or melee damage, I can guarantee you that they would definitely be able to deal some damage to the Megapithecus. Now we'll showcase to you once we finish killing these little bloody apes here, the power of the ram attack with the Rhino. I would definitely get yourselves a pair of these guys. Look, even just that little charge up there was enough to deal a 400 damage. Now obviously you do need tribe mates in order for this to work effectively, because if you don't have tribe mates, well then they're just going to get killed because they won't be able to do their ram effect. So you can easily bring 4 of them into the Ragnarok boss battle with you. Just try to avoid the Dragon's Breath and you should be fine. So we'll show you here. Boom! There you go. 1200 damage. Now the thing is, you're going to constantly be running around the enemies, especially on Rag, and you will be able to utilize that charge effect with a couple of tribe mates. So guys, that's why the Wooly Rhino comes in at number 6 on this list. Alrighty guys, now coming in at number 5, we have the Manners. Now, otherwise known as the Managmas. Now, these guys, they were really good for doing boss battles, but since they got their Ice Breath nerf, they have become considerably weaker, I guess you could say. So now you need to be really close in order to do the breath attack and deal a lot of damage with it. You can see here, we're only doing like 5 damage per pop. They are still worth it a little bit though, in my opinion. I think they are. You can definitely use them. Like, look at the damage that we're managing to do to the Megapithecus here with just the Ice Breath. These guys, like I said, aren't level up in any way, shape or form, and if you've got a decent enough stamina on them, you can just constantly burn it out. Now, for me, I probably wouldn't use these guys on any of the island bosses. I would probably use these guys on the Ragnarok bosses. Because of the Ragnarok bosses being able to fly, you'll be able to shoot at them with your Managma because of their ranged attack with their breath, which is, in my opinion, I think where they really shine, and I would definitely recommend using them in Ragnarok. But you can use them on the other bosses. You can see here that we are dealing quite a bit of damage to the Megapithecus and all his friends. We've still got quite a few Managmas here. These guys they don't have the greatest amounts of health, but they do have a pretty decent amount when you level them up and stuff like that. So yeah, I would recommend taking them on, especially for the Titans as well on Extinction. They really shone over there. Like, I ended up taking out the Desert Titan and the Ice Titan with my 140 tamed Managma, and like, we didn't lose him or anything like that, so that was really good. Now, that was obviously before the nerf, so there is some factors in that as well, but like, we are still doing a decent amount of damage to him. Obviously, it's not going to be on par with the amount of damage that the Rexes do, but like, you're still going to be dishing out damage, especially for the Dragon and the Manticore, who are constantly up in the air, and you constantly need to wait for them to land unless you've got like weaponry that you can shoot them down with. So guys, Managma comes in at number 5. Alrighty guys, now coming in at number 4, we have the Therizinosaurus. Now, you guys are probably wondering, what is he doing on the list? Well, the Therizino definitely is the highlight of the Dragon boss battle. The Dragon does a crap ton, like I'm talking a crap ton, of damage to carnivores because of his fire breath. So, cool, we just totally got annihilated by the Dragon because of a fireball. So guys, like I was saying, the Theries really shine against the Dragon. Because his breath attack does increased damage to carnivores, the Thery isn't a carnivore, so it doesn't deal as much damage, which is great for the Thery, and it's great in order to take on the Dragon because of this reason. Now, try not to walk them into the lava, as well as they're going to die. Now, the Dragon pretty much fires fireballs from above, and he does a flame breath attack when he actually lands, and that shreds through carnivores. So the Thery really shines here, and he's got a really strong amount of melee damage when it comes to it. I don't know if there was a fireball that just came down on us. There's another one. So you can see there. Now, that attack would normally do a lot more damage to carnivores. However, because we are using a herbivore, it doesn't deal as much damage. Now, that attack there is the one that you want to watch out for, because that is what deals all the damage. Now, you can currently see here, we're doing about 130 damage to these Pteranodons. Now, do mind you that these guys don't have any extra levels pumped into them as well, so there is that to consider as well. Alright, we've got a big fireball coming down on front of us. There we go. So yeah, so pretty much with the Theries, you kind of just have to wait for the Dragon to land in order to be able to attack him. But you'll see here, where is he going? Is he going to there? Alright, you'll see here that when he does land, okay, he's going over that way. And we're going to walk in the lava now. Guys, get out of the lava. Get out of the lava. Alright, here we go. So you can see he's landed. We're going to whistle attack this target. And you can see there that the fire damage is hitting us. However, it does not deal as much damage to us as it would do to Rexes and stuff like that. To carnivores, namely. So the Theries are really good for taking on the Dragon for this particular reason, because of that breath attack. You'll absolutely get wrecked with it if you bring a couple of Rexes into the Dragon fight. Well, you won't get wrecked, but your Rexes will take more damage than a Thery will. So you can definitely breed these guys up to get health mutations, get melee damage mutations, and absolutely wreck the Dragon. As far as I'm aware, on the alpha difficulty of the Dragon, I have not found any sort of other dinosaur that is capable of taking on the Dragon without losing because of this very reason. Now, you can obviously snipe the Dragon from a distance as well with a shotgun. However, Theries are one of the best dinos to use for the Dragon boss battle. So guys, Thery comes in at number 4 on this list. Alrighty guys, now coming in at number 3, you guys would have definitely seen these guys being on the list. We have the T-Rex. The T-Rex is hands down, in my opinion, one of the best dinos you can bring to a boss fight. Now, you're wondering, why is it not at number 1? Well, you will shortly see why it's not at number 1. There are 2 more dinos on this list that I think deserve that spot more than the Rex. Now, these guys are absolute machines. They are probably one of the tankiest and strongest dinos you can bring into a boss fight. Now, the Dragon isn't really a good example because, like I explained with the Thery, it has the fire breath attack, that does damage over time and can really, really hurt your Rexes. No, guys, chill out. Wait for him to land. But you can see here on these Pteranodons that we will absolutely wreck them. Now, these guys have not been leveled up in any way, shape, or form. They are 150 tames. So, you know, they haven't been leveled up. They haven't been bred for mutations. Nothing like that. But you can easily get Rexes up to 30k health and like 600 melee damage with mutations and everything else that's going on in Ark. So these guys are definitely worth investing in, and it's definitely worth investing in getting a bunch of boss Rexes. Alright, so we're going to go get the dragon now. Now, you'll shortly see, you can see the amount of damage that the Fire Breath attack does. Now, hopefully these guys aren't fighting in the lava. Yeah, they're fighting in the lava. So these guys are real good for taking on any of the bosses, like I said, because they just do so much damage. And because of the ability to get their health up so high, you can really, really do a lot of damage with them and take on any of the boss battles throughout Ark. Except obviously Aberration, because you can't get Rexes there. But yeah, Extinction as well, they were taken against one of the Titans. Even just serving as like a tank pretty much, just tanking all the damage, because you can, like I said, get their health up to 30k, 35k, 40k. So the Rexes come in at number 3 on this list. Now guys, coming in at number 2, we have the Daeodon. Now the Daeodon is one of the best dinos you can bring to a boss fight, because he's one of the only dinos, he is actually the only dino that can heal your dinos in a boss fight. The Snow Owl is not able to enter boss fights because he's a flyer, so the Daeodon is still the only viable, not viable, but the only healer that you can bring into boss fights. Now you can currently see here we're giving off some passive healing. You want to make sure that you slot cap this boy with as much food as you possibly can. I like to use cooked prime meat because it lasts a little bit better, it gives a bit more food than a normal raw meat or normal prime meat, and you can fit more of it on the Daeodon. You always want to make sure that this guy is well fed, otherwise he won't heal. Now you can also force feed him to get his food up manually, but do make sure that you have enough food to do so. Now with a Daeodon, or 2 Daeodons even, you can see our dude over there is attacking as well. It is possible to deal enough damage and outlast the Broodmother, the Megapithecus, the dragon, anything like that. It is possible with Daeodon healing. You just need to make sure that you've got a lot of food with you. I personally would bring about 2 Daeodons with you to a boss fight, have one sitting on passive in the background, fully capped with food, and have the other one with a Trimate or yourself on it, and ride that into battle. Reason being because once this guy eats all his food, he's going to stop healing. Once that happens, you want to run back to your other Daeodon, grab him, turn the healing back on, and then come back into the fight. Otherwise, you'll find that your dinos, they won't die, but they won't get as much healing. But you can see here, we are taking on the Broodmother rather easily with the Daeodon's healing. So guys, let's move on to number 1. And finally guys, the dino coming in at number 1 is the Yutyrannus. This guy, once again, is pivotal just like the Daeodon to every boss fight. I mean, he's not pivotal, but it definitely makes things easier. Now, this guy has the Courage Roar, which enables you to buff your dinos with courage. You can see there, they are now buffed. Now, what this actually does is it allows them to do more damage. Like, I am talking crap tons. You can see there, we're hitting 1024 with one of our Megatheriums, which is absolutely crazy. So you want to continuously pump out this courage boost because it will allow you to deal extra damage with your other dinos. If you don't have someone on the courage, on the Yutyrannus pumping the courage buff, you'll find that the boss battles will not be significantly more difficult, but they will be significantly more easier if you do allow yourself the courage buff. So definitely tame yourself up a Yutyrannus and bring him to every boss fight, because it makes it so much easier in the long run and you won't lose as many dinos. It's incredible how powerful you can get the Yutyrannus's like minions. You can see there, these guys are our minions with his courage buff. I believe it's an extra 30%, if I'm not mistaken, an extra 30% extra damage on top of their already base damage. So if you've got Megatheriums with their bug buff and you bring them in with a Yutyrannus, you are going to shred the Broodmother so goddamn quickly. And yeah, it's just ridiculous. So guys, we're going to wrap up the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the video down below in the comments and whether or not you guys enjoyed it. But other than that guys, thanks very much for watching and I will catch you in the next one.